Okay, and you are here for the Morning Mindset, Friday morning. Just checking my audio, everybody. Looks good. Thank you for joining me. My name is Beto Paredes, and it is a beautiful, wonderful day here in Salt Lake City. I moved here about 2 months ago now. I've really enjoyed it, and I think that it's an important thing to be somewhere that you feel really comfortable. But I can tell you we're going to talk about a subject today that is uncomfortable for some people, and they look at it in a way they really shouldn't look at it in all respects. I love personal development. I love the perspective that your past isn't your future. But we're going to create a slight argument with that today. It's important to do this, and you'll see why. And of course, I have several other entrepreneurs that come on that get here so that they can get their mindset. The purpose behind the morning mindset, of course, is to get our mindset so that today matters, so that the things that we want to accomplish get accomplished by the end of the day. And we're going to talk about some tools today to help you manage that. So get a pen, get a notebook, think about some of the things we talk about today, and figure out how within yourself you can utilize some of the lessons to make your day better. Okay? Always suggest you spend about 5 or 10 minutes after we're done to sketch down a few things and how you might be able to incorporate that. Okay, so what is today's subject? Today's subject is shape your future by the blueprint of your past. Now, just wait a minute, because what does everybody talk about? They say, you know, your past is not your future. You know, blueprint what you want to be and build yourself into it, right? Keep your eyes forward, stay present, all these things that are very good advice, especially because most individuals tend to dwell on things from the past. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. We'll start there. So everyone that's had a bad experience in the past, raise your hand. Okay, everybody raise their hands. Everyone who's had their heart broken, raise your hand. Okay, everyone who's ever felt insecure, raise your hand. Okay, any of you that have ever been in a situation where that insecurity built tremendous within you, raise your hand. Okay, any of you that's ever wronged somebody in the past, on purpose or not, all the way back to grade school, raise your hand. Any of you that look at your past and realize how much you've grown into the present moment and that you're such a better person now, raise your hand. Okay? When we look into our past, there is a tremendous amount of potential philosophy going on there. Okay? A lot. And what I mean by that is there's so much that we've been and have experienced up into the point that we're at, that the easiest thing for a personal development coach or a friend or yourself to say in order to feel empowered and move forward is your present isn't your future. Your past is not your future. Okay, you don't have to be what you were. And then I get it. I mean, Robbins even talks about that a bunch. But let's wade through this just a little bit, because you're missing some magic here. You're missing something that I would even say has a little bit of mysticism to it. It's incredible. Okay? We go through life and we gain experience and we learn. Okay, everyone believes that's true, right? A lot of times the people we respect around us are the ones that have been through the most. And that experience itself tends to shine from them, especially when there are individuals that have overcome said experiences and have grown in certain capacity in certain ways. Okay? I'm going to read this. According to science, okay, and when I say science, I mean quantum mechanics, okay? So we're talking physics here. So according to science, the past as we conceive it is still the present as we review it in our minds. Let me say that again. According to science, the past as we conceive it is still the present as we review it in our minds. In other words, when you remember something and it causes you to experience something like emotion, deep thought, whatever it might be, you're having a present experience. There is no past. It doesn't exist. Okay, now this quantum theory goes into all kinds of incredible speculation about how time and space don't even exist. If you want to read something incredible about that, read Biocentrism. I just got that second book called Beyond Biocentrism, but I'm in the middle of another book. But you know, I'm so funny. I just sit there, it sits next to me on my couch. I read every morning for at least an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and I just keep looking at it like a kid. And I say like a kid because we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about being kids here in just a minute. So, according to science, the past as we conceive it is still the present as we review it in our minds. And I can't emphasize just how powerful that actually is and what that actually really means. Okay? When you remember your insecurities, when you remember times where you were less than you should be, when you were frustrated, okay, most of the time it's because it's related to something you're feeling right now, okay? And that's where most of these personal development coaches try to get you out of that perspective. If you're an insecure individual and suddenly you feel insecure, all of a sudden, all of these memories come up because they're relative. They're related to each other. And they all come welling up within you all at the same moment, right? Okay, if you've ever had a loved one that has stepped out on you and ended up being with someone else unbeknownst to you, that's damaging. Your trust is like in the toilet, right? So even if something's not specifically going on, let's say with some new person that you're in love with, it's very loyal to you. You're going to throw those projections onto that person from your past. So there's lots of reasons to say, oh, your present, your future is not your past. It's just an easier way for these personal development coaches to say, don't get caught up in that. You can mold yourself and your future in anything you want, but they're missing something so valuable there. Okay? Considering this fact, you have a powerful tool at your disposal. All actions experienced are available to you as force. Okay? I'm going to repeat this entire sentence now, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff. According to science, the past as we conceive it is still the present as we review it in our minds. So there is no past, there is only present. If you're remembering something, you're remembering it in the present. If you're experiencing emotions from what you remember, you're remembering it in the present. Okay? Considering this fact, you have a powerful tool at your disposal. All actions experienced are available to you as force. What are you talking about, Beto? Well, I'm going to talk about your past in a way that nobody's really probably put it to you so that you get it and you see how powerful and how big of a tool it can actually be. First thing that's got to get into your mind, just like I stated, according to science, the past as we conceive it is still the present as we review it in our minds. So that statement, everything in our minds is here. Everything we see in our heads is happening. Okay, if we feel insecure about a situation, it's most likely because of a memory that is coming into our minds in the present, causing a biochemical reaction in our bodies to feel it. But it's happening now. The experience is now. It's a force within you, okay? So, as soon as you start your day, think of a time that you were wildly excited and successful at something. As soon as you start your day, think of a time that you were wildly excited and successful at something. Let that sink into your biochemistry. What does that mean? How many times in the past were you excited? How many times in the past were you successful? How many times in the past were you happy? How many times in the past were you confident? How many times in the past were you imaginative? How many times in the past were you a pirate? How many times in the past were you a paladin? How many times in the past were you a cop in a cop car with your friends when you were 5, driving down the street, completely enamored by that incredible imagination that you have? To believe that the past is just something to shed is taking away so much power from the past that you can use right now. Because again, according to science, the past that we conceive, it is still in the present. Okay? I used to have a huge imagination when I was a kid. Man, the things that were going on. Man, I remember, I can give you 500 examples, but one for example. Okay, Hot Wheels. How many of you loved Hot Wheels? And any of you that are my age certainly did. Okay, Hot Wheels, perfect example. You remember the ones with the opening doors? Tell me you didn't turn those into airplanes. Tell me the cars with the open doors didn't fly. Man, and you had a good time, didn't you? And it was exciting, and you had a whole city of cars, and they all had personalities, and you sat there for hours just playing and imagining and loving it. Well, why don't you feel that way about the business that you're running? Why isn't your imagination engaged in the things that you're trying to conceive of, you're trying to manifest in your business? Why not? And why is it not okay to imagine ourselves as if we were 5 for just a minute, just to get that energy back? Be ye as little children, I think it was, the Christian master Jesus said, right? You'll enter the kingdom of heaven. Get your imagination going. Okay? If you had some bad high school experiences, some bad college experiences, or maybe just some failures that really haunt you, go deeper. Go back to that 4 or 5-year-old person that you were, where you were fascinated by the world. If you're missing that from your life, shame on you for doing that. Bring the magic back. It's critical that you do. Shape your future by the blueprint of your past. Everyone talks about the blueprint of your future. Great. Think about times when you were awesomely super excited. How about first time you ever played football, if you're a football player? How nervous you were when you put on them pads and everyone went out and you were on that line of scrimmage for the first time. Remember that exhilaration? That immediate wonderment in your mind of what that impact's going to feel like when that freaking quarterback calls his shots. The first time you freaking went forward and felt the crush of another individual and the clash of your pads and your helmet. The first time, everybody remembers that if you're a football player. That wonderment, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but you know that you want to be a football player and that you're going to give it what you got. And then from there, it turned into more and more and more and more and more experiences, good or bad, whatever it may have been. It's that point of impact, that first time where that exhilaration became real, where your imagination as you saw it became reality. Okay, if you're a business owner, you are manifesting reality. Have no doubts that there is anything else that you are actually doing. You are looking out upon the abyss of life, this empty canvas, and you are standing your ground and you are looking out into the things that could be, and you are manifesting them into reality. Not much different than getting all your toys and getting all excited because mom said you can go play for 2 hours and you don't really know what you're going to do, but man, you got your cars, you got your He-Man, you got a big old bag of toys over your shoulder and you're heading into the living room. For your mom, that's the living room. For you, that's the canvas of your next 2 hours of your imagination just being unleashed. Where'd that go? Nowhere. That's what I'm here to tell you today. That's what I want you to take away on this Friday morning mindset. It didn't go anywhere. I'm going to read this again. Forgive me. According to science, the past as we conceive it is still the present as we review it in our minds. It's still here. You're just engaging a new environment. That's all. You're wiser, smarter, older. Maybe you're my age and you're starting to deal with the idea that mortality is, a real thing. You're no longer immortal. I'm at that mid-age. I'm 40. I'll be 41 in a month. No matter what, doesn't matter. Okay? That energy, that reality, that beauty that we've experienced at any point in our memory. Again, I use the little kid thing because it's easy to go all the way back there and not deal with the high school breakups, okay, and not deal with the bad grades, not deal with not getting into that college, not deal with that first isolated feeling you got when you moved away from home. All those things they say that you need to leave behind and move forward. I want you to go back into the things that really did work for you, that really did make an impact on your life, where you were excited. And don't look at it as something that did happen or was before. Because if you will let it come into you and use your imagination to reinforce it, your past successes, your past high self-esteem moments, your past confidence moments, even if you got to reach all the way into when you were small. Okay, because let me tell you something. I had a lot of insecurities in high school. Okay, I had a lot of insecurities in life in general. Everybody does. But when I had my bag of toys and I was going into that living room and I was 4, I wasn't even in school yet, I was king. I know you remember that. And if you translate that all the way to the beginning of the day to day and tell yourself that this bag of toys or all of these contacts and businesses that you have and branding that you need to do and marketing that you need to learn and communications that need to happen are just that big bag of toys, and that you're going to have fun and you're going to be in charge and you're going to be confident, you're going to have high self-esteem, well, there is absolutely no problem with pulling that all the way out of that 5-year-old self that you were and making it manifest here now. What I want you to do today, okay, is write down for me 15 to 20 times in the past, all the way down to your youngest self, where you were confident, excited, overjoyed, surprised in the best way. The butterflies in your stomach right before something incredible happened. I'll give you one for me. First time I ever performed on stage, I was a serious musician at one time. You guys would have laughed to know me in my early 20s. Man, I was going to be a rock star. And I remember the first time I was on stage, I was so nervous. But then our first song started and everybody was paying attention. And I just unleashed. I was a singer in that band. And I was jumping all over the place, microphone in my hand, marching back and forth on the stage like I never thought I could ever do. I was feeding off the crowd's energy. 5 minutes before that, I was nervous. Thought I was going to die. But then it was just this explosion of amazing energy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with bringing that into my very moment in which I'm living right this minute and experience that, because it's already something biochemically within me. That memory will bring all of those energies back into my system. Do not look at your past as something to shed. Look at your past as a platform for the future person that you know you can become. Because you will reshape how you see the past. The shadows, the hard moments, the insecurities, the difficulties, the sadness, sorrow. Those are shadows of your past. And inside of your past, there is still brilliance. There is still absolute and omnipresent elation. Even all the relationships you've ever been in, they always start innocent and beautiful and exciting. It's only later that at times they can come to pieces. But you've got both sides of that spectrum that you can drive yourself with. I want you to take that into this weekend. There is no past. All past is present and all future is present. Everything is now. Let your mind be a tool. Let your memory be a tool. Okay? Everybody have a great day. It is Friday. Remember what I always say on Fridays. You got to work twice as hard today to get the same results as yesterday because everyone's working half as hard. But not us, right? Not us. Let's say this one more time and let you go. As soon as you start your day today, right now, think of a time that you were wildly excited and successful at something. And let that sink into your biochemistry because when you feel it, because you see it, you'll get into state. Once you are in state, you will be able to perform. So let's make it powerful. Thank you for joining me today, and I will be back here again Monday morning.